Good morning, students. Welcome back to the genetics part 5. So, in the last class, we were dealing with the basic concepts of the genetics, and then we moved on to the Mendel's monohybrid cross. So, now we'll go on with the Mendelian's laws of heredity. So, during his set of experiments, Mendel gave two laws, okay, of inheritance and segregation. So coming to the first one, law of dominance. Dominant characters, you know what is meant by dominance. So this deals with the law of dominance. The characters are controlled by discrete units called factors. So he said that all the characters are controlled by a unit called as factors. Factors occur in pair. The second point was factors, they always occur in pair. We had dealt with the example. In a dissimilar pair of factors, one member of a pair dominates and the other is recessive. So, in the last class, we were dealing with some example like capital T, small t. In this, it is a heterozygous condition where one is dominant and the other is recessive. That is what he is saying, the law of dominance. This was used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characters in monohybrid cross, that is F1. We know that in F1 we got capital T small t, but expression was taken only with the capital T because it is a dominant. So the plants in the F1 generation of the monohybrid cross were all tall, and in expression of both in F2. So in F2 you saw that we got the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 1 of genotypic ratio. That is, 1 was completely homozygous tall, the 2 was heterozygous tall, and 1 was homozygous dwarf. So this is what explains that in the law of dominance, where in a heterozygous condition always the dominant character expresses itself and the recessive character suppresses itself. This is called as law of dominance. Next is law of segregation. It states that when a pair of factors for a character are brought together in a hybrid, they segregate during the formation of gametes. That is, when we bring a pair of characters together, that is, again we will take the pair of characters were capital T, small t, small t. We have taken this example, right? They segregate during the gamete formation. This was the parental type, all these two. But during the gametes, we took only capital T here and small t here. That is what he is saying. They segregate during the gamete formation. Whatever it may be homozygous condition or it may be heterozygous condition. But the factors, that is genes, always separate during the gamete formation. This I will show you again with the monohybrid cross example. The alleles do not blend and both the characters recovered in F2 and 1 in F1. The alleles never blend. These two never blend. Any of it may be heterozygous or homozygous, but they never blend together. That is, they never combine together during the expression. They are independent of their expression. Either this expresses or either this expresses when there are two. In this also, since these are homozygous, there is nothing matters. Anyone expresses. Factors which is present in parent segregate and the gametes receive only one of the two factors. That is what I said. I will deal with the example again. Homozygous parent means one kind of gamete, that is same. These are homozygous. This is homozygous. This is homozygous. Heterozygous parent means two kinds of gamete. Each one have one allele with equal proportion. Either it may be heterozygous means capital T, small t. So the gametes will be either capital T and the small t. So this is law of segregation. So now we will go with the example for the law of segregation. Again, in the last class we were dealing it. Monohybrid cross of Mendel is the example for the law of segregation. We will take here again. So, for example, the parents were taken in the monohybrid cross by Mendel was capital T, small t, small t. These were the parents, right? So what are the gametes which we got? The parents are homozygous tall here and the heterozygous tall here. Heterozygous dwarf here, sorry. So the gametes which we got is here capital T only, this is small t only. We take only one gamete because this is a homozygous condition. So we got the F1 ratio after the cross. It was capital T, small t. So This was the F1 which we got. It is heterozygous tall. So the capital T expresses, that is law of dominance came here, where capital T is dominant, this expresses, and small t is recessive, so this doesn't expresses. So these segregate during the gamete formation. For that we'll go again now. After F1 generation, event with the selfing, where capital T, small t, that is F1 generation, was crossed again with capital T, small t, F1 generation. These are the two parents here now for the F2 cross. So this is heterozygous tall and this is heterozygous tall. This is called as selfing. So here we will see the gamete formation. That is what is explained in the law of segregation. The gametes formed here are capital T, small t, and here also the gametes formed are capital T and small t. This is what he said. Even though if they are together in the heterozygous condition, even though if they are together in the heterozygous condition, the gametes separate during the gamete formation. The factors separate during the gamete formation. Here the factors are capital T, small t, capital T, small t, but they separated during the gamete formation. Capital T was a separate gamete and the small t was a separate gamete, and they go for the expression of the F2 that I explained in the last class. You can go with that again back. So thank you. Hello students, welcome back to the genetics topic. That is, now we are moving on to the next concept called as incomplete dominance. So in the last class you all know that we had dealt with the law of dominance according to the Mendel, which states that when in a heterozygous condition a pair of allele is there, one is dominant and the other is the recessive, then always the dominant character expresses itself, whatever it may be, and the recessive character suppresses itself. This was the law of dominance, and it not naturally occurs in all the organisms, but there is some exceptional case that is called as incomplete dominance, which occurs in only rare cases of plants and animals. So the examples are Mirabilis jalapa, or it is also called as 4 o'clock plant, and the other is snapdragon, or also called as dog flower plant. So it is also called as partial dominance or semi-dominance, because in the heterozygous condition, as the Mendel law states that the dominant has to express it, but here the dominant character cannot completely express itself. So it is called as incomplete dominance or partial dominance or semi-dominance. It states that the inheritance in which allele for a specific character is not completely dominant over the other allele. That is, one character is not complete, the allele for the one character is not completely dominant for the allele of the other character. So that is called as incomplete dominance. Now let us go with the example. This is incomplete dominance in example snapdragon or the dog flower plant. So one is the pink color flower and the other is the red color flower. So now we'll go with the example. We can see here the parental generation are, one is red color flower and the other is white color flower. These are the parents. The genes are capital R over here and small over the other parent. So the gametes are capital R over one side because it is homozygous, and here also small r is there, so small r over the other side because it is again homozygous condition. So in the F1 generation, when we cross this, we get capital R, small r, just like the Mendel first cross. But according to the Mendel and the law of dominance, we have to get, since this is capital R, small r, which we got here, it has to be red color flower only, heterozygous red. Okay, but here instead of getting either red or either white, we get a specific other different color called as pink color flower. The capital R, small r has to actually code for heterozygous red color flower in F1 generation according to the Mendel and according to the law of dominance. But here out of the box it gets another red color called as pink color, capital R, small r the flower will be pink. So here again he go for selfing. So in selfing he gets 1 is to 2 is to ratio, 2 is to 1 ratio as it the Mendel's law. But the phenotypic ratio is different and the genotypic ratio is different. Let us go with this again. I will explain it here. So the parent taken were red and white. Okay. The gametes, the notion of alleles were capital R, small r, small r. These are gametes, genes. These are parents and now the gametes. The gametes here are capital R and here small r. Since it is homozygous, we can take a single gamete. In the F1, after crossing, we get capital R, small r. So, according to the Mendel law of dominance, the capital R, small r means the plant should be having the red color flower, since it is capital R is dominant over the small r. But here you can get another different color of flower called as pink. So the dominant is incompletely expressed over the recessive. Both of them expresses a small bit of percentage. So it is called as incomplete dominance. Now we'll go with the selfing. So selfing means F1 generation is again crossed with the F1 generation. Capital R, small r crossed with capital R, small r. So now we will see this. How to take this. We can have two types of F2 generation. The sums, okay. I will going to deal with both. Capital R, capital R, capital R, small r, capital R, small r, small r, small r. This is what we get. Capital R is red. This is red. These two are pink. Again out of the box. And this is white. This is the ratio which we get. Again we will see here. Another type. Capital R, small r, capital R, small r. We will cross this like this. The Punnett square. I dealt with this also. Capital R, cross this, capital R, capital R. Now cross this and this, capital R, small r. Now this and this, capital R, small r. This and this, small r, small r. The genotypic ratio will be 1 is to 2 is to 1. See, you can see here, the gametes here are capital R, capital R. Here only one is there, and capital R, small r, 2, and small r 1. So the genotypic ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. Okay. The phenotypic ratio is again 1 is to 2 is to 1. It is deviating from the Mendel law. So capital R means red color flower. Capital R, small r means pink color flower, and the small r means white color flower. The phenotypic ratio was also 1 is to 2 is to 1, and the genotypic ratio was also 1 is to 2 is to 1. The genotypic ratio is same as that of Mendel, but the phenotypic ratio deviated from the Mendel's law. According to the Mendel, it has to be 3 is to 1, but here it was 1 is to 2 is to 1, and this is called as incomplete dominance. Thank you. Hello students, welcome back to the next part of genetics, that is codominance. So in the last class we studied about the incomplete dominance, which had some deviation according to the Mendel's law. It was not following the exact rule of the Mendel's law, that is the dominant recessive relationship. Now the another thing is codominance. This also doesn't follow exactly the Mendel's law of inheritance, where dominant, we say that always the dominant expresses itself when there is a recessive condition. So now we'll go with the codominance. The alleles which do not show dominant recessive relationship and are able to express themselves independently when present together are called as codominant alleles. and the phenomenon is called as codominance. So when there are two alleles present together, they doesn't express either dominant or recessive, but they together express themselves, and that is called as codominance. The best example for the codominance is seen in human blood group system. That is, we have a blood group system called as ABO blood group. So humans have 6 genotypes of the blood and 4 phenotypes of the blood group. So we know that we have 4 phenotypes: A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group, and O blood group. These are the phenotypes, that is appearance, and it has 6 genotypes. I will show in the next slide. Blood groups are determined by two types of antigens present in the surface coating of the RBC. So how does the blood group are determined? So we can say the blood group by the types of the antigens present where on the surface of the RBC present in our blood. That is, the red blood corpuscles of our body has some antigens present, that is produced on their surface, and based on that we can say the blood group system. So coming to the types of blood group which we have here. So we have A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group, and O blood group. So the person having this blood group have these corresponding antigens present here. The blood group A has antigen A, blood group B has antigen B, the blood group AB produces antigen A and B both, and the blood group O produces no antigens. That is, the person having the blood group A has antigen A on the surface of its RBC, and the person having blood group B has antigen B, and the person with blood group AB has antigen both A and B, and the O person with the blood group doesn't have antigens in it. So now in the last slide I dealt about the 6 types of genotypes of the blood group, that is IAIA, immunoglobulins. These are the alleles which represent the blood group. Okay, blood group A is determined by either IAIA or IA small I. So these are the alleles. Blood group B is determined by the alleles or genotypes IB or IB small I. This is the condition. The blood group AB has antigen genotype or the allele IAIB because it has both antigens, so we have to represent A and B here. Immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin B. And the blood group O doesn't have antigens, so it is a recessive condition where we write it as double I, that is recessive, small I. So both IA and IB are dominant over small I or IO. This is the recessive condition. You can write it as I or IO, but not over each other. So IA and IB both are dominant genes. So when these are present together, they express themselves together. Okay, but these are dominant over the recessive condition I or IO, but not over each other. That is, we call it as codominance. IA is also dominant, IB is also dominant, but they are together expressed because they are not dominant over each other. IA is dominant over small I, IB is dominant over small I, but IA is not dominant over IB and IB is not dominant over IA. Hence, when both IA and IB are present in a person, both the alleles are able to express themselves forming the antigen A and B. So, when both the alleles are present, this explains the codominance. A person is having both the antigens IA and B, means he have the allele IA and allele IB. But here both are dominant over each other, so the IA cannot suppress IB and IB cannot suppress IA. So what happens? Both expresses together, and that is called as codominance, forming the antigen A and B. Such alleles which are able to express themselves in the presence of each other are called as codominant alleles. So codominance means both of them expresses together. Either of them are not dominant, both are dominant, not only one is dominant. That is called as codominance. Thank you. Hello students, welcome back to the genetics next part. So in the last class we studied about the codominance. So now we are going with the inheritance of two genes or Mendel's dihabet cross. Earlier in the same chapter, we have studied about the Mendel's monohybrid cross, okay, inheritance of a single gene. So now we are going with the dihybrid cross or inheritance of two genes. So in the case of monohybrid cross, we had taken only a one gene, a one pair of contrasting character. And here we are taking two pairs of contrasting characters. So the definition of the Mendel's dihybrid cross is a cross made between two pairs of contrasting character is called as dihybrid cross. In the previous classes, we have studied that Mendel took for his experiment 7 pairs of contrasting characters. Okay, out of these 7 pair, in the dihybrid cross, he have taken about 2 pair of contrasting characters. So, the common example which Mendel took was he crossed pure breeding pea plants having yellow round seeds with wrinkled green seeds. Okay, so these are the parents he took. Now we'll go with the example clearly so that you can easily understand it. So this is the Mendel dihybrid cross. So this checkerboard or the Punnett square is the must over here. So coming to the experiment. The first one, the parent which he took was round yellow seeds with wrinkled green seeds. Round and wrinkled are one pair of contrasting character, where round is a character having dominant trait and wrinkled is a character having the recessive trait. This is one pair of contrasting character. The second pair, since it is a dihybrid cross, the second pair which he took was yellow seeds over the green seeds. So yellow seeds are dominant trait with respect to the green seeds which are recessive. So round and yellow are dominant traits and wrinkled and green are the recessive trait. So coming to the genotypes. So round was denoted by capital R and wrinkled by small r and yellow by capital Y and green by small y. So these gametes you have to take now. Since these are homozygous, so instead of RR we took one R and instead of Y capital we took one Y. And here small r small y since it is recessive. So he crossed the first these two gametes to get the F1 generation. So we got the F1 generation R capital R capital Y small y, which denotes as round and yellow seeds, because in this first pair capital R small r means capital R is dominant over the small r. So the round color of the seed expresses. And another contrasting characters capital Y small y. So capital Y is yellow seeds which is dominant character. So capital Y expresses itself over the recessive Y. So the F1 offspring was round yellow seeds, but here capital R, capital Y small y was involved. So now we went with the selfing. Always selfing means the F1 generation offspring is again crossed by the F1 generation offspring. Anywhere it is there. Anywhere you take, this is the meaning of selfing. So he took this selfing and the gametes are capital R, capital Y, small y. These 4 gametes you can see here, okay. So here I will show you in the next slide how to take these gametes again, okay. Not to worry. So these gametes, these are first pair of gametes and these are another second pair of gametes. So how to cross this? We need F2 generation now, but how to cross this? To cross this in the dihybrid cross, we have to use only the Punnett square system or the checkerboard system, which is mentioned here. One pair of gametes are over here and another pair of gametes over here, horizontally and diagonally, okay, vertically. So how to cross this I have said in the last class only, that during the monohybrid cross. This with this, again this with this, like this, okay. You know the multiplication, you can try it, okay, you will get it. So when this is done, the phenotypic ratio obtained was 9:3:3:1. The 9 was round yellow, 3 was round green, 3 wrinkled yellow and 1 is wrinkled green. So, in the F2 ratio of the dihybrid cross, Mendel obtained 4 types of plants. 1, 9, 3, 3, 1. Totally 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Totally he got 16 plants in the F2 generation. Out of these 16 plants, the ratio was external appearance was 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1 as mentioned here. And the genotypic ratio was 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1 is to 1. This is not needed for you, okay? Here genotypic ratio is not needed. We are concentrated only on the phenotypic ratio. This was the Mendel's dihybrid cross. Okay. I'll deal with some other examples also so that it will be easy for you people. So next, based on the Mendel's dihybrid cross, he gave a second law called as law of independent assortment. So what is this law of independent assortment? When two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of character is independent of the other pair of character. That is what we saw here. When two pair of traits are combined together in a hybrid, one pair of character completely separates over the other pair of character. You can see here. See, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. These four were together in F1 generation. But they completely expressed separately. They never mixed together. They never expressed completely together. So capital R, small r expressed as round and capital Y, small y expressed as yellow seeds. So the same thing you can see in the F2 generation also. So that is, they segregate or they separate, each character separate during their expression, even though during the gametes they are together, but during the expression they separate or independently express themselves or assort themselves, and that is called as law of independent assortment. The example is Mendel's dihybrid cross. So the occurrence of four types of plants in F2 shows that the factors of each pair of two characters assort independent of the other, as if the other pair of factor is not present. So when these two pair of contrasting characters are brought together, irrespective of the dominant recessive trait, one trait completely expresses itself and the other trait completely expresses itself, but they never combine during their expression. They express separately or they express independently, and that is called as law of independent assortment. Thank you.